Chapter 17. Splash. Robert's head was pushed into a sink filled with dirty water. Charmine shoved his head further in with her heel. "Wash your head off those false and filthy thoughts," she jeered. "Think about this. If Tiffany wanted the best for you, why didn't she encourage you to study harder? Why did everyone in the family end up avoiding and despising you?" Robert struggled to breathe under the water, unable to get up as Charmine's incredible strength kept him down. Suffocating. The dirty water shot up into his mouth and nostrils the moment he opened his mouth in his struggle. It was only when he nearly passed out that Charmine removed her leg. Harshly pulling him by his hair, Charmine growled, "Robert Jordan, don't be such an idiot. That's all I'm leaving you with. If you do this to me again, I won't let you off so easily. Not even if we're related." She let him off and left. Robert sat beside the sink as he struggled to catch his breath. Unbelievable. What changed the shy and quiet adopted kid into such a skilled woman, who managed to break his ribs with just one kick without even trying? What an evil woman. She even tried to strain my relationship with Tiffany. Had she not hurt Tiffany enough already? I'll get her one day, he scowled to himself. Meanwhile, Charmine went into her bathroom on the other side of the villa. She instantly removed her makeup and rinsed the taste of blood off of her mouth when a man walked through the door, handing her a pack of ice. "Why not just get a DNA test?" the man spoke first. "Eric, do you think Tiffany doesn't know what she's doing? She probably pays off every hospital and clinic in Burlington. It's likely she would change the test result even before the DNA is tested." Noting her swollen lips in the mirror, Charmine continued, "So what if they find out I'm the actual child? They don't like me anyway." Eric frowned. "Though, I'm actually looking forward to the part when the truth is revealed, and that Tiffany had torn them apart." Her lips curled into a mirthless smile as she cooled her swollen lips with the ice pack. Eric's frown deepened. Who would have thought that someone else would hold as much grudge as him? Or perhaps even more. Anyway, there's something more important to attend to. He handed Charmine a phone. Charmine was met with a Twitter news feed with the following headlines. "Who is Charmine Jordan's sugar daddy?" Read the first. "Tiffany Jordan photoshopped in nude," stated the second. "Tiffany Jordan's resources stolen," was the third. The hottest discussion topic in the search bar was, Tiffany Jordan was auditioning for Chanel's show, but a photoshopped nude of her was put on the big screen, and she ended up losing the role. Looking at the comment section, she read the following. "What a coquettish woman. Our Tiff is so adorable and pure, she's unreal. She'd never do such a thing. Why now of all times? She's obviously playing dirty just to get the role. What an evil woman. Exactly. I wonder what men she's sleeping with. How could a newcomer take up such an important role? I'm disappointed at Chanel for having her as their ambassador. Boycott Chanel. Boycott Chanel. Boycott Charmine Jordan. Leave Charmine Jordan. You're not welcomed." The entire forum was filled with unpleasant comments toward Charmine. Charmine merely rolled her eyes as she scoffed. "This is nothing to me. Nothing." Everyone was bashing her in the forum. How could she act so calm? "This is your first fight, Charmine," he warned. "You ought to win this. Isn't making the headline something worth celebrating for?" Charmine walked to the wine cellar and poured herself a glass of red wine. She poured one for Eric, though he turned it down. His look darkened. It was no wonder why no one could help her. The things that happened within the past 5 years had turned her cynical. "Can't you be more serious?" he asserted. "This isn't a joke." Meanwhile, the executives at Chanel were having an emergency meeting regarding this very situation. They could not let Charmine have the role if everyone was criticizing her online. Charmine merely reclined herself on the sofa languidly as she took a sip of her wine. "Don't you worry. Why would I set this up if I don't have a plan B?" With that, she started typing on her phone. Chapter 18. Her private account on Weibo was bombarded with messages. "You're so evil. How could you do such things to Tiffany Jordan? Why didn't you Photoshop your own photos as well? What a bitch. You should be dead by now. I hope you and your family could die in peace. A nobody like you thinks you can audition for Chanel? How many men are you sleeping with to get that money? Beware of HIV." Charmine scrolled through the messages and scoffed as she typed. "Sleep around for money? More like sleeping in money." She then attached 3 photos. A high stack of house deeds, a pile of luxury car keys, and a street view of High Street in Burlington. These photos quickly became the staple topic in the entire Weibo. High Street Burlington was a famous commercial street, known for housing hundreds of international luxury brands along the street, as long as 2,000 meters. The high stack of deeds was of High Street Burlington. Furthermore, the luxury car keys were of supercars worth millions of dollars. God, she's a billionaire. Impossible. These must be fake. She's just an adopted kid. There's no way she could afford any of these. I checked these, and they're for real. A quarter of the properties in High Street Burlington belong to Charmaine Jordan. Even the wealthiest family, Bailey, only own half of the properties. Huh. So it's possible that she's only sleeping with people from the Bailey family. Still, wealthy families like the Baileys won't take in an adopted kid like her for sure. But who else is she sleeping with? Even if everything is of her own, she had to have bought off the final appearance and ambassador role. She's burning cash for her fame. Totally. She has nothing but money. She's buying for her fame. And Chanel is willing to play along with her? Money can work wonders, eh? Suddenly the topic shifted entirely. Charmaine Jordan bought fame with money, bullying Tiffany Jordan. Nonetheless, Charmaine was not fazed. She had expected as much. She then replied, "Buying fame with money or not, we shall all find out tomorrow night." Find out tomorrow night? How could a fraud like her be so confident? At the Bailey family's mansion, Chris Bailey was initially scrolling through his laptop in silence when he suddenly jumped up in agitation. "Mommy is so cool. I've never met a woman so cool. I'm fangirling over Mommy." "You're a boy," Anthony deadpanned. He placed Chris to the side as he powered up his laptop. Chris frowned in confusion. "So many people are bullying your wife, Daddy. How can you still focus on your work? You're so mean." "Keep quiet. I'm sorting out Mommy's stuff," Anthony muttered. Enigmatic yet charmingly so. Although Charmaine had it under control, Tiffany was still cunning enough to have pushed all the lies onto Charmaine. The discussions on the forum should have been Tiffany Jordan's nude. But Tiffany successfully turned the tables. That could be changed. With his slender fingers doing wonders on his keyboard, the headline instantly changed to Professor Zero analyzing Tiffany Jordan's nude. The video clip started with Professor Zero, in his mid-60s with grayish hair, as he addressed the audience. "Hello everyone. I'm the national photo analyst, Professor Zero. As you may have known, I work for the government, and my job scope consists of analyzing the validity of all kinds of photos and images, assisting our departments to validate the proof from crime scenes. As I came across a heated discussion recently, I was interested to clear some mysteries with the resources I have. To be honest with you all, I myself am a big fan of Tiffany Jordan. She's such a pure and hardworking young lady, and I even inspired my granddaughter to look up to her great achievements at such a young age. Therefore, when I saw that photo of hers, I was agitated by the false accusations of her. Thus, I took out some spare time to analyze this photo, so I can find out if it was photoshopped or merged by AI tools." Professor Zero then turned the camera to his computer screen as he powered up a complicated software. As the program was running, he continued to explain, "This is a powerful photo analyzing software, accessible only to professionals. It can analyze the validity of any kind of photos, whether they've been photoshopped or artificially merged. Usually, this program is used for important government-assigned projects. However, I've requested special permission to use it for this occasion, helping everyone to dissolve the mystery." He uploaded Tiffany's image onto the program. A message displayed on the screen. "In progress 9%. A few seconds later, some codes popped up filling the screen with complex computer language. The professor turned to the camera and seemingly excited added, "This is what the program has analyzed. Right here, it's processing all the data of this photo." He continued to speak as he scrolled down. Suddenly, his pale old hand halted with a shake. "The image is 100% original." The words were clear as day. In an instant, hundreds and thousands of comments appeared below the video. "This is impossible. Tiffany Jordan would never take photos like this. Is this mistaken? That's very unlikely. Professor Zero is a professor. He wouldn't make up things like this. Also, only government officials have access to this program, so the result is legit. Does that mean Tiffany Jordan actually sent out the photo? I can't believe she's so wild." Well, if we look at it properly, How could there be a woman pure and beautiful like her? She's nothing but a great deceiver. Comments from her haters filled the forum, and the topics that stirred hate for Charmine shifted into Tiffany nude. The photo is legit. Professor Zero. The photo had been validated by Professor Zero, so there was nothing her fans could help her with. With that, Tiffany's reputation was forever tainted with this. Chapter 19. At the Jordan family's mansion, Tiffany staggered onto the sofa terrified. How could this be? It was going so well. How did it all turn so wrong? Why would Professor Zero make such a clip ruining my reputation if he claimed to be a fan? And going so far as publishing the clip? She exploded, ranting deliriously to herself. It was then when Julian Cabell walked into the room, wearing an exquisitely tailored suit. Tiffany, what's the photo ABO? It's *T. *T. Tiffany snapped before he could finish his sentence. Julian stopped short. He had never seen Tiffany like this before. Once she realized it was Julian, Tiffany hastily recollected herself and rushed to him as she whimpered. Julian, darling, I didn't mean to yell at you. I was just very disappointed at Charmine. She then continued as she simmered in resentment. I've never done her wrong all these years, except for the one time 5 years ago. I can't believe she can be so evil. I wonder what she has done for the past 5 years in Africa, making so much money, buying properties, and even made acquaintance with Professor Zero. For all we know, she must have bribed him to make a false claim, since we know nothing of photo analyzing. He could get away with any lie. Her entire being shook as she cried, as though Charmine had been the one doing her wrong. Julian, darling, we grew up together. Do you really think I'm that kind of person? Why would I ruin my own reputation? Her act was utterly flawless that it was hard to not fall for her facade. Please don't cry. Of course I trust you. Julian hugged her as he rubbed her back. I can't believe Charmine Jordan has become so cruel in just 5 years. Tiffany pushed him away gently, looking as though terrified. Yes, and she'll come at us for revenge. After all, I did push her down the stairs by accident, and you even kicked her. With what she is now, there's no doubt she'll come at us at all costs, destroying us. Ha! She won't be able to, Julian scoffed. Don't worry about this. She has wronged you twice, I won't let it pass, came Julian's assurance. Once he sat her down comfortably, he picked up his phone and logged onto his Weibo account with millions of followers. In the past 5 years, Julian's parents have retired and handed him the family business, and this made him the CEO of Mylan Group. Originally rated as top 10 highest achieving company in the country, Mylan Group owned malls, theaters, hotels, travel agencies, and more. Under Julian's management, coupled with his callousness and charm, his excellent marketing skills on Weibo successfully pushed the group into the top 5. Even Senior Jordan thought of his abilities highly, approving Julian and Tiffany's marriage. However, they were not allowed to get engaged before Charmine returned the engagement token, so they had not been able to be official in the past 5 years. For this, they held a grudge against Charmine. Julian made a post on Weibo and tagged Charmine. Ha! We shall all find out tomorrow night. Only a fraud like you can tell such lies. If you can really make it to the show tomorrow night, I, Julian Cabell, owe you 100 million. At Charmine Jordan, as the youngest CEO, wealthy and handsome, he had the nickname of National Husband worshipped by over 40 million fans on Weibo. Within seconds, his post received at least 200,000 replies. Ah, my husband finally posted on Weibo. So hot and dominating. Even our national husband cannot stand that *TCH Charmine Jordan. Rumors have it that Julian Cabell is seeing Tiffany Jordan. Is he standing up for Tiffany? These are all unimportant. Didn't Charmine ask us to wait till tomorrow night? If she's got what she claimed, why is she hiding? Haha. Isn't it ironic that the *TCH got told off by our national husband? She must be crying in the corner right now. Little did they know, Charmine had long logged off her account and was working out in her gym at the villa. As her agent, Eric was tasked to keep things under his watch. With Professor Zero's clip going viral, he expected the haters to give Charmine a break, but it did not take long before their attacks came right back at Charmine. Moreover, Julian Cabell was involved. He had no choice but to get off the sofa to show this to Charmine. In the gym, Charmine was dressed in her tight workout outfit, throwing punches at the punching bag. Beads of sweat rolled down her fit and toned body, as she was practically damp with sweat. Yet her unruly wild beauty was still evident. Eric, like any man, would got lost in the moment looking at her, though he quickly snapped out of it. Charmine, that ex-boyfriend of yours declared war on Weibo, he spoke. Do you have a moment to spare? Chapter 20. Ex-boyfriend? Julian Cabell the dish a bag? Charmine scowled. Yeah. He posed a challenge that if you can win the audience with your charm, he'll owe you $100 million. Eric replied calmly. Do I look like I'd need an extra $100 million? Charmine turned back to her punching bag and delivered a sharp punch right to it. Thump. The 100-pound punching bag was sent flying away. Eric was utterly stunned, though it was nothing new. This was true to Charmine's nature. That was not the end of it, however. Removing her gloves, Charmine picked up her phone and replied, Julian. Attached to that post was a photo of her middle finger. Preposterous. The national husband rejected as gross by Charmine Jordan? A man with a net worth of $30 billion was tagged with a photo of Charmine's middle finger? OMG, what's wrong with this crazy woman? Julian is so hot, and she called him gross? No wonder she's adopted. Such a bitch. Too scared to accept the challenge? Don't you dare tag on my husband's fame to become famous. I just want to punch her so badly. The haters all came at Charmine with viciously typed out replies. Charmine was unfazed, undaunted by their comments. But it was then when her phone rang. She picked up the call and heard Simon Gray wheezing on the other end of the call. Boss, are those people on Weibo attacking you? He spoke in between pants. Came Charmine's simple reply, uninterested to explain. Simon was shocked. Who would dare come for Charmine? In the past 5 years, nobody had the nerves to go against Charmine. Well, all except for Eric, who could be rather direct sometimes. Boss, should I fly over now? I can help. No need. You just have to take good care of the company. If I don't see a 10% increase in the quarterly review, you might as well forget about the end-of-year bonus. With that, she ended the call. On the other end of the call, Simon was left hanging with mixed feelings. He was concerned about his boss, yet that same boss responded with a threat in return. He was starting to regret making this call. Seeing as Charmine had hung up, Eric took the chance to warn her. The fans here do prefer low-profile celebrities, so it's in your best interest to keep your profile low. They won't like it if they find out who you truly are, and those who work for you. Don't you worry, I know what I'm doing, Charmine reassured him as she continued scrolling through her phone. She had a moment, and decided to log back onto Weibo. She posted, I accept your challenge. If I lose, I'll pay you $10 billion. But if I win, I don't need your money, but I want a live stream of you eating sh*t. Do you accept the challenge? With that, she attached 2 more photos of her middle finger. Eric was dumbfounded. Didn't she just tell me she knew what she's doing? When will she ever learn to keep her profile low? Forget about it. She can never do that, Eric thought, annoyed yet amused altogether. On the other end, Julian's face darkened when he saw the post. How dare Charmine spoke to him with such arrogance, when she used to be that woman who tailed after him, wherever he went. Fuming, he was just about to type in the reply when Tiffany stopped him. Julian, darling, don't act too rashly. If she speaks with such confidence, perhaps she knows for sure she'll win this challenge. And if she does? Her winning? I know her better than anyone else. For the past 18 years, she had been this vulgar and tasteless woman. And now she's nothing but a paper tiger. There's no way she would have changed so much in 5 years, he scoffed. Also, walking on the T-stage takes more than just some tricks. One needs so much confidence and experience. With this bet going on, everyone would be critical of her performance. And there's no way she'd be able to charm every single audience. With that, he posted, Bring it on. I hope you have $10 billion ready. He was confident Charmine would lose. Chapter 21. Charmine scoffed at Julian's reply and typed out her own. Someone might as well make up his mind on whether to eat human sh*t or cow sh*t. Maybe pick up some dog sh*t by the road. No one was making it easier for the other side, as a century worth of gamble was announced. The fans on Weibo went crazy at this as the bets were huge. A live stream of eating actual sh*t versus $10 billion worth of cash. What else could be wilder than this? Everyone could hardly wait for Chanel's show tomorrow. Charmine never lost her composure, as she merely threw her phone aside. Turning to Eric, she then spoke. Be prepared for tomorrow. Don't worry. I won't let you down. With that, Eric turned and left. He was just Charmine's agent. Thus he would not be staying at her villa. Charmine locked the door the moment he exited, and went to bed early. The same did not go for Tiffany. She tossed and turned in bed, unable to fall asleep. She did not know why, but she had a strange feeling that Charmine came back as an entirely different person. It was rather impressive that she could buy the black-green meteorite stone. As Julian's lover, it would embarrass her to no end if Julian was to lose the challenge. As though a light bulb went off in her head, she walked out of her room and knocked on Amelia's bedroom door. The door opened, and Tiffany was met with Amelia's puzzled look. Tiffany, you're still awake? I thought of Charmine, and I just can't sleep. I'm worried about you. Tiffany sighed. Amelia frowned. Worried about me? What is there to be worried about? Oh, Amelia, I'm sure you saw what Charmine wrote online. She's marketing her image as straightforward and arrogant just like you, and she's behaving way more ostentatious than you. Tiffany then added, if she charms everyone with her final appearance at the show tomorrow night, I'm afraid that she might replace you. Replace me? What? Does she have what it takes? Amelia refuted mockingly, as she eyed Tiffany. Tiffany, are you out of your mind? I've been in this industry for 5 years. I'm not as popular as you, but I'm one of the top 10 supermodels in the country. She's nothing but a newbie. How is she going to replace me? Tiffany clung to her hand as she convinced her. Amelia, the fact that she was signed by Chanel today is already a sign that she does have some skills. Didn't you notice that she's completely different from before? Don't take it too lightheartedly. Hearing all these, Amelia then recalled the look on Charmine's face when she was on the stage. Her face was attractive, so attractive that any woman would envy her, with beautiful legs so long and perfectly shaped. A strange sense of danger raised from within. Amelia then firmly replied, Don't worry, I'll try my best. I'll practice my steps right away. One more thing, Amelia. Please take good care of yourself. Charmine has harmed me twice since her return, and I'm worried she might harm you too. Be careful. Tiffany reminded her with a soft tone. Still, these are just my suspicions and Charmine is still family. Be nice to her, and don't make the relationship worse. As Tiffany walked out of her sight, Amelia's face darkened. Harm her and replace her? No way. She took out her phone and made a phone call. At 8 o'clock the next day, everyone on the internet was anticipating the live stream of Chanel's show. Charmine woke up early to get ready, but as she was ready to leave the house, she realized the door was stuck. She pushed and pulled the doorknob, but it did not help. The door was locked from the outside. She was almost impressed that someone could pull such a childish and low-level trick under her nose. She thought she might as well play along. Her lips curled into a sneer. Instead of banging on the door, she walked back into her house. Chapter 22. A woman stood close to the door as she watched closely. When she saw that the doorknob stopped jiggling after a while, she smiled proudly and made a phone call to report on the matter. Miss Amelia, everything is going as planned. Charmine can't get out. Good work. Keep watching, and make sure she doesn't come out, came Amelia's sly reply. Once the call ended, the woman sat on her chair cross-legged. So Charmine thinks she would build her reputation through Chanel's show and steal Tiffany's fame? Well, she's locked in her house now. Amelia mused to herself, self-assured that Charmine would never gain the fame she craved. Charmine was so bold to place such a bet against Julian. If she failed to even get out of her house, Charmine would lose terribly. Amelia laughed boisterously, though only to herself. The thought of Charmine being mocked and laughed by the netizens was both entertaining and relieving. Her internal celebration was cut short when someone added Amelia on WhatsApp from the Jordan family group chat. The person had a black image as the profile picture, nicknamed Boss Jordan. Who could it be? Which relative? Amelia accepted the request warily, and before she could ask who they were, she received a voice message from this mysterious sender. Miss Amelia, everything is going as planned. Charmine can't get out. Good work. Keep watching, and make sure she doesn't come out. This was the recording of her call with her secretary. Her phone then vibrated. It was a text from Boss Jordan. Amelia Jordan, Ask your secretary to unlock my door right away. If not, I'll post this online, and you'll end up like Tiffany Jordan. Amelia's face darkened. So this boss Jordan was Charmine Jordan, was it? She typed furiously. Charmine, how did you get the recording of my call? Are you spying on me? Do you know that this is illegal? A reply came not long after. So is detaining someone in her house. In serious circumstances, this can be charged with the crime of illegal detention. According to the provisions of paragraphs 1 and 2 of Article 238 in criminal law, anyone who commits the crime of illegal detention shall be sentenced to fixed-term imprisonment of not more than 3 years, criminal detention, surveillance or deprivation of political rights. Amelia's face turned pale from reading the text. Unbelievable. Charmine was threatening her with the law. Worse still, if the recording went public, everyone would know that she was bullying Charmine. It would be a surefire way to end her. Her fans would not like her anymore. And Grandpa hated to see the siblings falling out. Whenever something happened, he would deal with them using the family law, ranging from getting beaten by a whip filled with thorns kneeling at the ancestral hall, to deductions of company shares. Another message came through. Amelia Jordan, you have exactly 1 minute. If you don't open the door by then, and even if you do later on, I won't leave the house. And when I don't show up to the show later, and it goes on the news, I'll publish this recording. What do you say? What do you say? Of course everyone would think that Amelia trapped Charmine inside her villa for a day. Amelia fumed with gritted teeth. She wanted to kill Charmine so badly, but she only had 1 minute to decide, and she had no choice. Unwillingly, she called her secretary. Zoe, unlock the door right away. Now. 1 minute. What? Why? Just do as you're told. Don't give me *T. I'll chop off your hands if you take an extra second, Amelia threatened. Terrified, Zoe hung up hastily and smashed the metal chain that locked the door with a hammer. The metal chain was securely fastened on the top of the door. Thus it was impossible to open the door from the inside. Zoe put in so much effort to fasten the chain, and she had to destroy it in merely 1 minute. Zoe swung with all her strength, and by the time it was unlocked, she was covered in sweat. Charmine strode out from the room in a red gown. With eyes that could mesmerize, she stared into Zoe's eyes. Remember to fix my door. Oh, and tell Amelia that she wasted 35 minutes of my time. So remind her to transfer me $350,000. 350,000? She might as well steal it. Was she delirious? Chapter 23. Zoe wanted to fight back, but Charmine had made her exit, her silver heels clicking against the corridor floor. Even the shadow of her back was straight, proud as it was. Click, clack, click. Zoe froze as she watched Charmine leave, and it was only after she was out of sight did she make a phone call. Amelia, we nearly got her. Why did we let her go? Do you know how arrogant she is? She ordered me to fix her door, saying that we wasted 35 minutes of her life. So we owe her 350,000. What? 350,000? Amelia was seething, but once she remembered that Charmine had a hold of their call, she began to pile up the blame on Zoe. It's all your fault. Why did you call back to report to me? Do you know that she got a recording of our voice call? She yapped. You can't even do a thing right. I'll take the 350,000 out of your salary, 10,000 per month. Her monthly salary was only 20,000. So with 10,000 taken away, she would be left with 10,000 per month. Amelia hung up on her before she could even get a word out. But knowing her bad temper, she could only suffer in silence. With what just happened, Amelia texted Tiffany to warn her. Tiffany, Charmine is too much to handle. She somehow managed to get a hold of my phone recording. Please warn Julian before she pulls on any trick on him. Tiffany read the message with a sullen face. Indeed, she intentionally talked to Amelia last night to instill hate and use her to stop Charmine. But she did not expect Amelia to be defeated so easily. If Charmine could attend the show, and with what she had, what if she won? Would Julian have to live stream himself eating crap after all? Never. She had to think of other ways. Seconds later, her eyes twinkled as though a thought came to mind. She turned and left right away. By then, Charmine already left her villa, waiting to be picked up by the road. The car she had booked was cancelled since she was all caught up with Zoe. And since it was rush hour, there were fewer cars available. She might be late if this went on. She had no choice but to keep on walking and pray for some cars to pass by, in hopes of hitchhiking. Not long after, a few luxury sports cars pulled up around her, surrounding her in the middle. The leading car was a black Porsche, its highly finished body shining in style. The car lights, wheels, and handles were painted pink. The stark difference between black and pink made the car seem classy and fashionable, suitable for ladies. Tiffany sat on the passenger seat, face beaten with makeup that emphasized her exquisite facial features. She was in a white cotton dress, and she looked graceful just like a princess, exuding an air of elegance. The other luxurious cars were just as expensive with attractive ladies in them, likely to be Tiffany's friends. They started sneering when they saw Charmine. "Tiffany, isn't this your adopted sister? Didn't she claim to own hundreds of luxurious cars and bet with 10 billion? Why does she not have a car now?" "Oh, who can't brag? I can brag that I have thousands of those cars too. Look at what she's wearing. I've never seen this brand before. Living so far away from the city, and claim to own hundreds of cars? Even bet with 10 billion? Joke's on her. At least think before you brag. Please don't say that about her, as she's still my sister. I believe there are reasons why she had to make up such lies." Tiffany pretended to side with Charmine in her soft and delicate voice. She looked at Charmine with the friendliest face she could muster. "Charmine, you can tell me if you don't have a car, and I can give you one. My parents bought me one for my birthday every year, and I ran out of space in my garage. All you have to do is ask. Why would you walk?" She then continued with her supposed understanding look. "Are you heading to the show? You'll be late if you walk. Get in the car, I'll give you a ride. I hope you don't mind Popa at the back. He's a good boy." As she spoke, she got out of the car and opened the back door for Charmine. A big pug was sitting behind, dirty as it was, and seemed to have taken most of the space. Once Charmine would get into the car, Tiffany would make Popa bite her, one way or another. It would be much better if he could scratch and injure her face. No way could she attend the show if that happened. Charmine scoffed. Did Tiffany just try to pull on such a lame trick on her? Did she think of Charmine as a Hello Kitty? "With your cheap and stupid car you want to give me a ride?" she scorned. "Really? Cheap? Stupid?" Everyone held on to their breath. Charmine spoke with such arrogance. What was she made of? Even Tiffany was taken aback when she heard Charmine. Chapter 24. It was not long before Tiffany's friends reacted to Charmine's obnoxious words. "Charmine Jordan, you're like a dog fighting its owner. Can't tell what's good and bad or a chalk from cheese. Tiffany was kind enough to give you a ride. How could you say such things to her? What are you barking on about, you adopted kid? This is a limited edition Lamborghini Sesto Elemento, priced over 40 million, with only 20 available worldwide. It's a blessing for you to even see it." "Exactly. Why don't you bring a better car than Tiffany's if you have it? All you do is brag." Disgusting. The comments were ugly to the ears. Charmine frowned contempt, unable to formulate a proper comeback. The ladies cackled at Charmine, under the impression that the frown on Charmine's face was because her whistle was blown. Look at her face. She can't bring out any. What a bragger. Huh. Seems like her whistle is blown. She deserves this. Please don't say such cruel things to my sister. Maybe she just doesn't like Popa, not the car. Perhaps she doesn't want to sit with Popa." Tiffany then turned to Charmine. "I'll let you sit on the passenger seat if you want to. Come on up, or you'll be late." As she spoke, she opened the front door for Charmine. Even on the passenger seat, she would have ways to make Popa bite her. Best if he could bite off her head from the back. Tiffany's friends had no idea how evil her thoughts were. They were more impressed by her generosity, scowling at Charmine. "Tiffany is so kind and generous. Charmine Jordan, what are you waiting for? You ungrateful B***TCH. Yeah, what are you waiting for? Haven't been on such an expensive car before? Shocked. Haha, must be a first-timer." As the ridicule persisted, the shadow of a car zipped right past them before it was parked by the side. The dazzling black body was made of carbon fiber and titanium alloy. The black finish had a shallow matte texture, and it embodied the definition of high-end technology. The two headlights were lavishly coated with diamond coating on the LED lights. One of them recognized the car right off the bat as they screamed, "It's a Hypersport! There are only 7 in the world." Suddenly, everyone was excited. Hypersport is worth at least $1 billion. It's the rarest sports car in the world. I heard the seats in this car are sewn with golden strings, and that the lights are inlaid with diamonds. Even the lights are worth a Rolls-Royce. This is the red sports car that leaped over the skyscraper in the 7th Fast and Furious movie. The same model. Who was the owner of this rare masterpiece? Everyone stared at the door in anticipation, their breaths halted as they waited. At this moment, the door was opened. A man in his personalized suit got out of the car. Although he was just a driver, he exuded an air of handsomeness that could dethrone top male supermodels within seconds. However, what happened next was just as shocking. He stood beside the car as he curtly announced, "Miss Jordan, I'm picking you up on my boss' behalf. Please get on." Miss Jordan? He came for Tiffany Jordan? Ah, Tiffany. When did you make acquaintance with this boss? Why didn't you tell us? I'm so jealous. Oh my goodness. Tiffany, can I touch the car? Everyone worshipped Tiffany with looks of admiration. On the other hand, puzzled Tiffany had no recollection of anyone who owned this car. Perhaps some wealthy billionaire was attracted to her after her viral nude, and thus sent a man to pick her up? A bashful expression emerged as she sheepishly spoke. I honestly never knew till today. Can't believe he came to pick me up. She turned to Charmine and spoke. All right, Charmine. I'm afraid I can't send you to the show myself, so my driver will send you off. As you can see, I've got plans. With that said, she strode confidently toward the hypersport, her face proud like a swan soaring proudly in the high skies. Tiffany's friends looked at her with immense adoration and jealousy. How could she be so lucky? Born in the second wealthiest family in Burlington, having a perfect boyfriend like Julian Cabell, and now, a billionaire suitor? There was no way anyone could ever compete with Tiffany Jordan. However, the man standing beside the car frowned. Please excuse me. I'm here for Miss Charmine Jordan. What? Charmine Jordan? Not Tiffany Jordan? Chapter 25. Tiffany was shocked with disbelief. Her face stiffened as she could barely contain her emotions, but she managed to hold herself together and forced a smile, asking, Sir, I think you've made a mistake. Charmine just returned to the country, and hardly anyone knew her. How would such a wealthy boss know her and send someone to pick her up? No, I've not, the chauffeur deadpanned. I'm here to pick up Miss Jordan. Charmine Jordan, he added, emphasizing Charmine when he spoke. Disbelief. Their gazes turned to Charmine as though in slow motion. This car came for Charmine? She knew the car's owner? Impossible. Tiffany's face twisted into a shade beyond abhorrence. How could it be? As everyone was still frozen in shock, the man walked toward Charmine and bowed. Miss Jordan, please. Charmine walked over nonchalantly, her eyes judging the car. It's not too bad, I'd give you that. However, there are only 7 cars in the world, and that number is ominous. Also, black absorbs heat, and it's not suitable to be driven in summer. It seems the seats are real leather too, she spoke, going into detail. Is your boss not aware that real leather traps heat in summer? Everyone was dumbfounded. A hypersport came to pick her up, and she was still unsatisfied? What more, criticizing the number for being supposedly ominous? The seats trap heat? What an ungrateful *TCH. Luke Reed's lips twitched. Indeed, this was true to Charmine Jordan's nature. She disgusted Mr. Bailey's diamond ring days ago. And now she hated his hypersport? What was she made of? With a frown he sighed. Miss Jordan, please don't make it hard for me. My master said I must pick you up no matter what. Also, the young master prepared you a gift. Luke then handed Charmine an exquisite-looking wooden box. Charmine frowned. Young master? Who could it be that they even prepared a gift? She accepted the box dubiously. Inside the box was a hand-prepared breakfast, with rice shaped into an adorable cartoon figure, its black eyes made of black pearl. On the bottom right corner, a few words were written with black sauce. Wishing mommy all the best. My mommy will stun the world. It had to be Chris Bailey. A grin unnoticeably made its way on Charmine's face, as she recalled the boy's round face, and her heart softened. Fine. For Momo's sake, I'll get in, she reasoned. Instantly relieved, Luke hastily opened the door for her, and got in the driver's seat himself. Vroom. The hypersport raced away as it left dust particles and leaves fluttering. Tiffany was splashed by the leaves, messing up her hair, while dust stained her white dress. Her so-called friends, mocked her as badly as they praised her, although they only did it behind her back, due to her reputation and power. Still, Tiffany felt their mocking glances. She could not restrain her emotions anymore, as she was left awestruck in embarrassment. The hypersport came for Charmine, not her. How embarrassing. She had never been more embarrassed in her entire life. Her plan was to stop Charmine and slow her down from appearing on the show. Alas, not only were her plans ruined, but she was utterly humiliated as well. No way. She could not sit idly. Tiffany wanted Charmine to fail. She wanted her dead. She picked up her phone and replied Amelia, her eyes filled with pure malice. Just you wait, Charmine. You'll be embarrassed through and through. I want to get back at you for what you did, but 10 times worse. Chapter 26. At Ocean Pearl. It was only 9:30 a.m., but guests had occupied the hall. With the bet between Charmine and Julian going on, everyone was keen to find out who Charmine was and how she would win. The ticket price went from a few thousand to 20,000 per ticket due to the increasing demand. Even executives like Julian, who was never seen in Burlington, reserved front row seats. They were all supporters of Julian, wanting to find out what drove Charmine to place such a grand and risky bet against Julian. A dazzling back hypersport pulled over at Ocean Pearl's back door. Luke turned to Charmine and said, "Miss Jordan, I'm relaying a message from Mr. Bailey. He said that if you need anything, just say the word, and he'd get it done." "No, I don't need it," came her firm reply. "This is a small matter, and help is not needed." Charmine got out of the car, but as she was about to shut the door, she added, "Right, help me to pass on to your Mr. Bailey. Ask him to spend more time with Momo, and stop wasting time on me. I don't lack anything, especially men. Just give up." With that said, she turned and left, majestic and proud like a peacock. Luke was left with a pale face. What did she mean she did not lack men? Also, just give up? How was he supposed to tell his master this message? Would he be beaten to death? It did not bother Charmine. She just wanted to make things clear with Anthony Bailey. Looking at the time, Charmine noted it was already 9:30, and the show would start in 30 minutes. She marched to the makeup room hastily. At the backstage, makeup artists rushed to complete the model's makeup, while the manager paced back and forth anxiously. Why isn't Charmine here yet? And nobody is picking up. That's so rude. She's always been arrogant, pretending to be famous when she's not. "Mr. James, you shouldn't have hired her for the final appearance," Amelia mocked. "Shouldn't have hired her? Who else could it be?" "You." A cold and arrogant voice was heard coming from the corridor. Charmine marched in and scoffed at the sight of Amelia. "A model ranked 3rd in Burlington. Why are you talking again?" "You." "I'm ranked 3rd. What about you? You've no ranking at all. How dare you speak to me with such a tone?" Amelia barked as she stood up in anger. Charmine scoffed. "Exactly. A nobody like myself was chosen to make the final appearance. Does this not prove that you're worse than a newbie? Are you sure you didn't buy your ranking with money?" "You." Amelia pushed away her assistant and makeup artist, about to jump at Charmine. "Stop. Stop," Mr. James yelled angrily. "The show is starting in 30 minutes, so everyone better get ready. Whoever ruined my show will pay 10 times the damage." With that, the room went pin-drop silent, and Amelia sat back on her seat. A makeup artist walked up to Charmine swiftly as she helped her get dressed. Mr. James walked to Charmine. With mixed feelings, he spoke. "Miss Jordan, I have to say that I'm impressed by your boldness. Because of you, our show is completely sold out. What do you feel about this? Do you think you can win?" If she lost, this would more or less affect Chanel's reputation, and the company would be criticized for hiring her. He knew better than anyone else that a jewelry show was nothing like a Victoria's Secret or a fashion show, where the models could show off their body shapes and costumes. In a jewelry show, the costumes were simpler as the main focus was on the jewelry. The supermodels would wear the jewelry and display them on the stage. How interesting could it be? How would Charmine stand out from the rest? Nevertheless, Charmine appeared calm and relaxed. "Don't worry, I've never lost to anyone in the past 5 years," she spoke, her tone as arrogant as always. The supermodels looked at her from head to toe. There was no doubt that she was an attractive woman, but she was way too arrogant. She was just a human with a pair of hands, eyes, and nose. How different could she be? Just walking around the stage trying to stun the world? How so? With what? A handful of fireflies? How much courage could one possibly have to fight against the son of the second wealthiest man in the country, Julian Cabell? Amelia snorted at her arrogant figure, yet there was nothing she could do. Out of the blue, her phone lit up with an incoming message. Amelia, this is your first appearance on such a grand occasion. Do make sure you've checked everything, especially your heels since they break easily. Tripping on the stage is the biggest humiliation any model can get, especially at a show like this. This will ruin the reputation completely, so do be careful. Mischief glimmered in Amelia's eyes once she finished reading the message. Mock me? I want Charmine to get out of the modeling industry entirely. Want to fight against Julian? Not a chance. Chapter 27. Time fleeted unnoticeably, and it was almost 10 o'clock. Get ready, everyone. An assistant called out to the supermodels backstage. Stand by the stage. It's almost showtime. The supermodels stood up to get in line according to their given number. Charmine was the last to appear on stage, thus it was not her turn for at least the next 30 minutes. She laid back languidly on her seat as she settled her mind. Outside, amid the huge space of ocean pearl, a tall T-stage was built in half-translucent colorful glass, surrounded by chairs across its perimeters. The guests in the hall were the richest in the country, able to afford a ticket at a starting price of $200,000. Outside the hall, the standing tickets were as high as $1,000. Most of the audience was looking forward to the show, some for the models while some for the jewelry. Of course, the one thing everyone was really looking forward to was Charmine Jordan, and how she would stun the world as she claimed to. On the right side of the T-stage, inside a private space isolated by green bamboos, 3 figures sat inside, 2 adults and 1 young boy. Luke slowly entered the space and with anxiousness muttered, Mr. Bailey, Miss Charmine had rejected your offer to help. She also said what? Anthony quipped. Luke took a while to gather his courage before he spoke. She asked you to spend more time with Momo, that she doesn't lack men, and that you should give up. With that said, Luke actively took a few steps back, avoiding unnecessary injuries. As expected, Anthony's face darkened just like the sky before a heavy downpour. Did Charmine just reject his help? Did she say she did not lack men? How many men did she have? Unable to hold it in, Niall guffawed at the situation. Who would have thought my brother can be rejected by a woman? My sister-in-law is very impressive. Anthony stared at him with his frosty glare. You should be thankful for the 3 words you said that saved your life. What? 3 words that saved his life? Niall was confused. Daddy, what now? Chris began to whimper. Mommy placed a heavy wager against that douche. Can she still win without your help? Said the boy before he began to sob. What if Mommy loses? I don't want to see Mommy lose, he whimpered in between sentences. Anthony ruffled the boy's hair. Don't worry, Mommy won't lose, he affirmed, voice as enigmatic as ever, though laced with firmly planted belief. Niall, by his side, saw the fire in his brother's eyes when he spoke of Charmine, and this was for the second time. Unable to hold in his curiosity, he spoke. Bro, if you treat Charmine so seriously, do you still want to search about the girl from 5 years ago? Once we find out who it was, would you still want Charmine or the woman from 5 years ago? Anthony's face turned sullen in an instant, and after a while, he glumly answered, just search for her. At this moment, music danced in the air as the lights went off, and the hall turned pitch black. This was Ocean Pearl's special function designed for hosting important occasions like this, as external light could be blocked with a huge black backdrop. It was as though day turned into night. The hall went into silence as the lights went off, and all eyes shifted to the stage. The technicians focused the camera on the stage, live-streaming the show online. The show was live-streamed on a few platforms, and they reached 10 million views even before the show was started. Now that the show was starting, the views had gone up to 100 million. The comment section was bombarded by hundreds and thousands of comments every second, with fans cheering the names of their idols. Of course, more people were commenting as such. I'm here to see Charmine lose 10 billion. By then, a soft spotlight glared on the long T-stage, reflecting colorful lights off the modern glass stage. With the music blaring soundly, the models appeared one after another.